with some thunderheads, but they're supposedly moving on out and should be clear for baseball tonight. That's my weather report, at least. Back upstairs with Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Jason Marquis will get the baseball. He had a great first half, an all-star. Last couple of starts have been subpar by his standards. By my calculations, he has 5 starts left this year. Obviously, in a pennant chase, he needs to be very good.
Well, he does, because you think about this. Aaron Cook's out of the rotation, at least for the time being, and he needs to step it up. His last couple outings have not been Jason Marquis-like. He's left that slider up a little bit too much. His sinking fastball has not been what he needs it to be. Last time out, though, against the Cincinnati Reds, went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, and one of those runs was the home run by Lance Nix. So you look for Jason Marquis to go out tonight and put up a Jason Marquis type of performance. He was not happy after his last outing. The very next day I was watching him, he went out there and threw a side session right then, and he was firing bullets. It wasn't like it was, oh, I got to take it a little bit easier because I got to start here in 4 days. He was a little disappointed about what happened. Look for him to rebound tonight.
Yeah, it's usually a little throwing on the side, get the lactic acid out. They're not firing bullets a day after a start, so that tells you a little bit about how competitive Jason Marquis is. Today is Tuesday. Fire up those computers. Get the emails flying as well. Rockies and Reds come up back with us. You buy E470 at Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. By Quest, get 2 free gigs of online backup with Quest high-speed internet. By American Family Insurance, to find an American Family Insurance agent near you, visit amfam.com. And by Red Wing Shoes, visit your local Red Wing Shoe store, where fit comes first. Only the shadow knows. Inside Coors Field, the Rockies about to take the field. Jason Marquis will be opposed by a 25-year-old left-hander by the name of Matt Maloney, who's made just a handful of starts in the big leagues. And Marquis leads the charge out onto the field. Let's take a look at the Reds lineup for Dusty Baker today. Drew Stubbs again will be up top. University of Texas product. Paul Giannis will be a shortstop. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland. Johnny Gomes has hit a couple of home runs over his last 6 games. He hit a 2-run shot yesterday against Ubaldo Jimenez. Vladimir Valentin gets the start in right field for Darnell McDonald. Craig Tatum is behind the plate. And Matt Maloney one of the few left-handed starters the Reds have had the last couple of years. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Jason Marquis.
28 start for Jason here in the Rockies uniform. Sink that fastball both sides of the plate, curveball, and then the changeup. Those three have to be effective tonight to keep the hitters off balance for Cincinnati. Looking to go for his 15th win, which would tie his career high that he had back when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals back in '04.
Hey, he went 15-7 that year with the Cardinals, and one of his teammates was Scott Rowland on that Cardinal team. They remain good friends. Defensively, the Rockies will have an outfield of Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez, and Brad Hopp. The infield will have Garrett Atkins at third. With Tulowitzki down, it'll be Barmes at short, and Eric Young Jr., who has not started in the big leagues, at second, though most of his work there in the minor leagues has been at second base. He will debut there, and then Todd Helton at first and Yorvi Torrealba back behind the plate. Chris Iannetta did the catching yesterday. And now our Bird Auto keys to victory tonight for the Rockies.
Well, first and foremost, Jason Marquis. We talked about his last couple outings, 0-2 with an ERA at 8.18. And then also the defense with Clint Barmes shifting over from second base to shortstop, a position he's familiar with. Only he's made one error over there this year. And then finally, EY Jr., Eric Young Jr. there at second base. First start at the big league level, as you mentioned, Drew. Let's see how that defense plays out with the ground ball pitcher and Jason Marquis.
Now the first pitch of the ball game is at the knees, which you like to see, and it's in there for a strike on Drew Stubbs. 81 degrees our game time temperature, and a little slider. Swung on and missed. It's 0-2.
Well, the key for Jason is to finish out in front with both of those pitches, and the way you do that is by staying back over the rubber, pushing off that right leg to get that movement going down.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The Reds came to town the hottest team in baseball, having won 7 straight. It was looking pretty good until the Rockies tied it in the 7th with a couple of runs, and then Ian Stewart's 8th inning home run. And the Reds looked to rally in the 9th inning yesterday. First 2 hitters of the inning got hits against Franklin Morales. But then some good defense, a great throw by Iannetta to cut down a trail runner on a double steal attempt. Swung on and missed, so Stubbs is gone. And a nice start for Jason Marquis. A reminder, tonight is Email the Booth night. We always enjoy visiting with you on Tuesdays. Go to FSNinsider.com, FSNinsider.com. Go to the Rocky Mountain homepage. Click on the Email the Booth link. It is brought to you by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com, Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. Paul Janisch takes inside ball 1. Janisch did have a base hit yesterday. It snapped an 0 for 15 slide. He's 1 for his last 19 at the plate.
That was that infield single he hit right up the middle that Troy dove for. Couldn't quite get it.
Good pickup by Atkins. 2 outs. 2 outs, nobody on. Joey Votto will come up. Joey, a .378 career hitter against Colorado. Grew up in Toronto. I was talking to Billy Schmidt, who's Rockies scouting director, earlier about Canadian-born players. Rockies have a pretty prominent Canadian-born player. They drafted out of the University of British Columbia, of course, in Jeff Francis, who, by the way, continues to progress, really throwing the ball well. Rockies put a shift on for Votto. But you have to have scouts in Canada now overseeing, both the eastern part of the country and the western part of the country where Jeff is from, 2-0.
Well, it's so important to have that covered now, because it used to be a lot of those guys would come down into the States, and that's where you'd start to scout them. Well, now that's not the case anymore. You've got to go up there and do your homework, much like what you have to do over in the Pacific Rim, down in Venezuela and the Latin American countries.
On the corner, 2-1. There are so many more good players coming out of Canada. A lot of prominent players, Morneau and Bay and Joey Votto, Jeff Francis. Yep. And they are eligible for the draft, just like kids who grew up in Puerto Rico. This ball is high and deep to center field, but Votto is going to have to settle for a long out. 1-2-3 start for Jason Marquis. We'll see the Rockies offensively after this. Second time this year, second time ever. Let's take a look at his lineup. Eric Young Jr. will lead things off at second base. Carlos Gonzalez has been in that leadoff spot. Will bat second. He's got an 8-game hitting streak, matches a career best. And Helton Atkins will bat cleanup. Seth Smith will bat fifth. Brad Hopp slides down to the 6th hole. Then Yorvi Torrealba, Clint Barmas, and Jason Marquis as we take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the 25-year-old left-hander Matt Maloney.
6'4", 220 pounds, straight fastball, about 88 miles an hour, changeup, curveball, slider. He really is a four-pitch pitcher, but nothing that is overpowering. You look at what he's been able to do here at the big league level. It hasn't been too good for him so far. Only 2 home runs in each of his first 4 starts.
And if you're wondering why, okay, Eric Young's leading off, Carlos Gonzalez has done such a great job batting in the 2-hole. This is what Eric Young's done his whole career. It makes sense, and you have much more versatility with a guy like Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's why you can slide him down there, and that's why he's hitting second instead of Seth Smith tonight. And Smith's kind of slid down now to the 5th hole where he's a run producer down there, just the way the lineup's structured tonight. Get EY on base, and then Cargo hitting right behind him.
And Seth Smith has versatility. This ball's driven to deep left field by Young, and it is over the head of Johnny Gomes. Young to second with a double. That is the hardest hit ball he has in the big leagues, and his first career extra base hit. He swatted that pretty well.
Yes, he did. Fastball, tried to work in. Boy, he really pulled his hands in nicely on that ball. Very compact swing, not much of a leg kick, just picks his foot up and puts it right back down again. Hit it over the head of Johnny Gomes out in left field.
I mean, Johnny put his glove up as if he may have a play, but
yeah,
that was over the top of Johnny Gomes. And now Carlos Gonzalez will come up. Eric, you got to watch Eric Young Jr. now. If you're Matt Maloney, you got a blind spot, you got a kid who can fly.
And then also the fake bunt. If he fake bunts to draw Scott Rowland in a little bit.
First pitch swinging by Cargo. It's fouled off. The Rockies do have a left-handed dominant lineup, but as we like to point out, a number of the lefties in that lineup are not phased by facing left-handers, and as you pointed out, Huey, this is not a guy who throws in the mid-90s.
He's not overpowering. That's another reason why you can put so many left-handers up there, guys that can swing the bat, but it's not like you can rush it up there 95 miles an hour where you feel like you're going to be overpowered.
Here's the bunt attempt. Here comes Rowland, and his throw just did get Gonzalez. Young moves to third. Just a really smart baseball play by Carlos Gonzalez. At the very least, he's going to move the runner, which is his purpose.
And I'm sure Jim Tracy or Tommy Reynolds said, okay, I'm going to give you one whack at it. If something happens, you don't get it. I need that guy over to third base. What a smart play on his own just to lay the bunt down. It was close over at first base, but get it so you now have an opportunity to get on the board early.
And a pretty good guy at the plate to get that done. Todd Helton, a couple of RBIs yesterday. He's now taken over the club lead from Brad Hopp in RBIs with 77. And he drove in the kid at third base yesterday on a very short sac fly.
But that's the beauty of having speed. To be able to drive in guys like an Eric Young Jr. when the ball's not too deep out in the outfield.
2-0 on Todd. 3-0. I asked Helton, I said, all right, that had to be the shortest sac fly of your career yesterday. And he laughed. He said, nope. He goes, I've had a couple shorter. I said, when? He said, Tom Goodwin was on third. He said, I hit one behind third base. He scored. I go, okay, I can believe that.
I can see it from Goody.
Yeah, Goodwin could really run. This ball is driven to left center field. It'll get the run home, maybe beyond. Nope. Run down by Gomes. Here comes little EY, and the Rockies lead 1-0. A more conventional sac fly this time for Helton.
A little bit easier for EY to get in from first base on that one. How about that 3-0 swing from Todd?
Take a look at the gloves for Cincinnati. Gomes in left, Drew Stubbs in center, Vladimir Valentin in right. Roland and Giannis on the left side, Phillips and Votto right side, Craig Tatum, who spent a good portion of this year at AAA Louisville, is behind the plate. And now Garrett Atkins with 2 outs. And he takes a strike. Garrett getting the start, batting in the 4-hole. He's hit much better against left-handed pitching this year than right-handed pitching. And he hits this one hard, but it's right at Brandon Phillips. A productive first inning for the Rockies. They get a run. Eric Young Jr. got it rolling with a double. Wins. One of the things that has to be disturbing for Dusty, his club has given up more first inning runs than any team in baseball. They have given up 110 first inning runs now. And what's more, check this out. 54 of the 138 games they've played, they've given up at least a run in the first inning. That's 38% of the time.
Yeah, and that's why you end up playing uphill a lot, as we talk about, and then it's tough to come back so many times during the course of a season. That's why they're 11. Part of the reason why they're 11 games under 500.
We were talking yesterday about the fact that the Pirates have 17 straight losing seasons. That's down low. 2-0 on Brandon Phillips. So unless the Reds make a mad dash, and they have played much better the last couple of weeks, they've won 12 of their last 15. But they come in tonight with a record of 63 and 74. So it's highly likely they're under 500 again. That will be 9 straight years the Reds have been under 500. 2-1.
It's kind of hard to believe because anytime you think of the Cincinnati Reds, we were talking about the big red machine yesterday. You just kind of feel like they're one of those organizations that stay away from those long type of losing stretches.
Two and two. Yeah, there's such great history in Cincinnati with baseball. There's great history in Pittsburgh for with baseball. But unfortunately, as Dusty knows, most of it is at least a decade old. For the Pirates, you have to go back to the Leland years when he had Bonds and Bonilla in the early 90s. 2-2, and this ball's lifted to left and deep, but playable for Seth Smith. It's time to check in with Alana Rizzo for the first time tonight with our Mike Shaw Auto Update.
All right, Drew, actually, I'm going to start with the Exempla injury report today. I want to get this out of the way. Some of our viewers might be wondering. You guys have already talked about Troy Tulowitzki and Ubaldo Jimenez, so I'm going to go ahead and update you on some of the other players that our viewers might be concerned about. Let's go ahead and start with Dexter Fowler. He played a complete 9-inning game yesterday. He reported no issues back to the big club, and he may be in the lineup as soon as tomorrow, guys. Houston Street, he played some light catch today. He's still day-to-day, of course. No timetable for his return. They want to be extremely cautious with him, and considering Franklin Morales is doing so well in that closer spot, there's no real need to rush him back. And then Aaron Cook, I was told he's had the best day yet today. He played long toss about 120 feet. He finished on flat ground. He's going to do some more long toss tomorrow, and if all goes well, he'll have a easy bullpen session this weekend. So it may seem to some that it's kind of a mash unit around the Rockies clubhouse and dugout, but really, I talked to Keith Duggar, the head athletic trainer. He said, you know what? It's September. That happens in September, and he said, you know what, it's just going to have something that we have to deal with. But the Rockies have been pretty fortunate in terms of not having to deal with many injuries this season. Of course, there's never a good time for it, but they always have that next man in mentality, guys.
Well, and the good thing is you have an expanded roster, Alana, this time of year. But to me, you played 162 games for part of a club for 10 years. No team in sports stays 100% healthy.
No matter how finely conditioned athlete you are, it's going to happen. You're going to have the nicks. You're going to play those games where you're not 100%. You're going to tweak muscles. You're going to pull muscles. You're going to do a lot of different things. The key is to make sure that they're not those ones where you're out a couple months.
Yeah.
You try to limit the damage, and that's part of the reason why they got Troy Tulowitzki out of the ball game yesterday. If he continues to play, then all of a sudden it might be a week to 10-day type of thing.
Yep. Marquis to Roland, and it swung on a miss. So the last time those two friends faced each other, a pitch got away from Marquis, hit Scott in the helmet. Scott ended up having to go on the disabled list with a concussion. And this time Marquis got with a hard sinker. A lot of movement.
A lot of movement. That one started at the knees and then worked down right towards the ankle. So far tonight, you can just see a lot more movement on the ball from Jason Marquis and a lot better location with it, down into the zone.
Two balls that were hit in the air, and they were hit well, but fortunately they were in the big part of the ballpark. 2 outs and a quick strike on Johnny Gomes, who has top shelf power. And he has swung the bat well against the Rockies this year. Gomes, a 385 average with 4 home runs against the Rockies in his career. But most of his career competing against the Rockies was this year.
Well, yesterday he hit a slider out that was it was away from him, but it was up in the zone. Get it away from him and down, and you got it.
How about that in it? Another punch out. Wicked slider for Marquis. So he's retired to first, 6-3 by punch out. 1-0 Colorado. Back after this. RBI. Let's take a look at our first email of the night. Austin writes in, what is more important to the Rockies down the stretch? A healthy lineup or a healthy bullpen? Well, that's a good question. Huey?
I'd have to say a healthy bullpen, because it all revolves in the stretch about what happens down there. I mean, you got guys that are going to be able to come in and close the ball game out if you have the lead. So to me, it's going to be the bullpen and the pitching.
Which is really difficult for you to.
Yeah, it is very difficult for me to admit that.
As an offensive player.
As an offensive guy and a non-pitcher.
1-1 on Seth Smith. And Smith hits it to deep center field, but he just got under it. Stubbs makes the catch. And with one out, Brad Hopp will come up. This is the first time this year Brad's been in the 6-hole. He's batted either 3rd, 4th, or 5th, primarily 5th of late in every ball game.
Well, when we talked about when you have a guy like Seth Smith, National League Player of the Week, who's been swinging in such a hot bat, you got to slide him up in front of Brad, take a little pressure off him, slide him down to the 6th spot. Hopefully that'll jumpstart things for Brad.
Maloney's a Midwestern kid. He's from the state of Ohio. But he's traveled around quite a bit. He went to Manatee Junior College, which is a very good baseball program down in Bradenton, Florida. He spent a couple of years there and then transferred to the University of Mississippi, where Seth Smith went to school. Smith's a couple years ahead of Maloney. That's high.
He came over from the Phillies in exchange for Kyle Loesch. He was a Phillies 3rd round pick in 05.
Three and one on Hop. And it's ripped to right by Brad. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy fun fact. In 1869, the Red Stockings became baseball's first professional club. They were managed by Harry Wright, who was also the center fielder. His brother George was the shortstop and highest paid player at $1,400 for the season. That whole year just smelt of nepotism. The Red Stockings went 57-0 during their inaugural season and ran their winning streak to 81 in 1870 before losing their first game to the Brooklyn Atlantics.
So if you're managing, how do you give your brother more money than what you made?
You know, I think something was going on under the table. That's hit down the line, foul by Yorvi Torrealba. He was drawing 2 salaries. He was the manager for $800 a year, and he played center field for $700. So he made $1,500, $100 more than his brother.
Dougie just handed me a note. It says George hit .519 with 59 home runs that season.
Good pitching in that league.
Oh. No wonder they won so many games.
Toward the hole and on through, another base hit for Torrealba. They had him played up the middle, and it's now a 16-game hitting streak for Yorvi Torrealba. That matches the long hitting streak on the Rockies club this year. He joins Todd Helton.
Playing up the middle, double play depth, he goes out and really reaches and pulls this ball. Probably shouldn't have hit it where it was, but he's just strong enough to get it past the diving Paul Janisch.
So Yorvi's bat has kept him in the lineup ahead of Chris Iannetta the last couple of weeks. And here's something you have to look at. In his last 23 starts, you know Jim Tracy knows these numbers. The club is 18-5, and that's most important.
Well, remember early on, too, when Carlos Gonzalez was not hitting all that well? And he kept running Carlos out there because of that winning streak and the numbers that he was posting as a center fielder, left fielder, whatever it was, how the Rockies played when Carlos was in the starting lineup.
Yep. Barmes making his 10th start at shortstop tonight. Here's the 1-0. And that's low, 2-0. By the way, our home plate umpire is a veteran umpire, Rick Reed. Jeff Kellogg is at first. Mike Mushlinsky is at second base. Mark Wegner at third. Did Mike leave? Tim Timmons is at second. My bad. Mike was here the first day. And actually, he was here the previous series. So Tim probably was on vacation. So Tim Timmons joins his regular crew.
Yeah, and he took Labor Day off. He didn't have to work that day. He gave it to the youngster.
I gotcha. Two on. Here's the 2-1, and it's a double play ball. Brandon Phillips got it turned despite the hard slide by Yorvi Torrealba. So the Rockies get a couple of hits, nothing else across. We'll go to the third. Colorado leading 1-0. Playing it right, he's trying to upend Brandon Phillips, keep the inning alive.
A good hard slide right towards the bag. Maybe he comes up limping just a little bit. But to me, more than anything, that's just the old strawberry, raspberry, whatever you want to call it. After a long season, I always say you start to get those things in February and March. You know when they heal? About November 1st.
Right in time to open up the wounds again.
Exactly.
Because it's time to go back to spring training. It's going to take a lot more than that to keep the catcher off the field. Vladimir Ballantine in the third inning will lead it off. He came over from Seattle earlier this year. And a big swing and a miss.
Well, Ballantine only hitting .213 when he's over in the American League. .269 now that he's come over to the National League.
Oh, 0-2. Good location with that sinker. Time for another email. Tony writes in, who do you think poses the biggest threat to the Rockies making the postseason, the Dodgers or the Giants? Well, it would clearly be the Giants, because the Dodgers are out in front by 3.5 games. They would need, not impossible, but they would obviously need to collapse down the stretch for the Rockies and Giants both to pass him. And of course the Rockies are next up. They're 2 up for that final playoff spot on the Giants. So I mean, to me it's more what the Giants do. The Rockies and Giants play 3 more times. The Giants and Dodgers play 6 more times.
I'd agree with you. I think it's the Giants too.
2-2, and it's 3-2 on Ballantine. Now let's look at this. This is a great graphic. Games left are basically the same. Dodgers have 1 less. Teams above 500. You point out the home games for the Giants, and also, Huey, the games above 500, 4 more for the Giants than the Rockies have. break it down a little bit more.
Well, we'll look at both of those numbers that you were talking about, Drew. I mean, look at the teams above and below 500 right there, okay? That's one stat. The other one, too, though, is that number, 15 home games. And you look at what the Giants has been able to do at home, the best record in the National League at home. So that's the other thing. And the Rockies go there and play them 3 times next week. So that's going to be an interesting series starting Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday out in San Francisco. But right before that, the Dodgers go into San Francisco and play 3 too. So I mean, it could be all skewed after what happens in every day. It could be.
Here's the only guarantee, and you hope it's not this way. You hope the Rockies go on some unbelievable roll, and the Giants fall apart, and you can, you can massage the roster and make sure everybody gets plenty of rest the final week. But we all know it's going to go down in the last couple of days.
Yep.
It is very likely that happens. You have 3 quality teams. The Giants with that rotation not going away. Now these are the projected starters for the Giants against the Rockies.
Right there, though.
Absolutely, and we'll tell you why. Zito and Kane the next 2 days, because Lincecum was scheduled to start tonight, and he was removed from that scheduled start against the Padres. According to Bruce Bochy, he has a back issue, and they hope he's able to start maybe late in the weekend Sunday, or maybe he gets pushed. Maybe they just skip him altogether and he starts Monday against the Rockies. But now Lincecum is a question mark for the Giants. By the way, the first base runner of the ball game, a bouncing ball up the middle by Craig Tatum.
And anytime you're talking about a back injury, no matter whether it's Troy Tulowitzki with Ian Stewart, a pitcher, though, like Lincecum, the way he puts the torque on the body and the way he comes through everything, it's going to be interesting.
Good bunt by Maloney, and Tatum moves to second. And you talk about who the Rockies are scheduled to start. It would be Hamill, Jose Contreras, and De La Rosa. But if you have to push back Ubaldo Jimenez, who is scheduled to start on Sunday in San Diego, there's a possibility, if he needs a couple of more days to rest that hamstring, that's a real possibility, folks. He may end up pitching against the Giants.
Well, and the other thing, too, the Giants have an off day on Thursday, so they could kind of rearrange their whole rotation. You're not quite sure. We talked about Lincecum, but they also have the Dodgers right before the Rockies play, so they don't want to sit there and go, oh, we're going to set our rotation of what's going to happen with the Rockies. No, they got to play the Dodgers first.
That's right.
So they can't be messing around with that too much.
Yeah, exactly. They can't say, well, we're going to put everything into the Rockies series, because if the Rockies have success, say, in San Diego, while the Dodgers are beating up the Giants, then it's the same thing as if they lost to the Rockies.
Yeah, because you could go in there a 4 or 5 game lead when you, hopefully, when you play the Giants.
Outside, 2-1 on Drew Stubbs.
But that's what makes this time of year so much fun when you're in it, because you're always looking at this scenario or that scenario. What's going to happen here? Who's going to be the matchup? Those are all the thoughts that go through Jim Trady. I know he's thinking 1 day at a time, 1 game at a time, whatever it is. But you still have to look down the road somewhat.
You do. You have to you have to focus on tonight, but have an eye on what may transpire down the road, particularly once you get some nicks. And you made a really good point. The Giants have the luxury of a day off Thursday. The Rockies do not. So if you have to push Jimenez back a couple of days, because the last thing you want is him to try to gut it out, strain his hamstring, and then you lose him for 2 or 3 starts.
Right.
So if you have to push him back, now how do you handle that spot on Sunday?
Well, it could be a bullpen by committee with some of the other guys that you've called up here in the last couple of days.
That miss is 3-2 on Stubbs. Be interesting to see what Marquis goes to here. You got Stubbs, who's been swinging the bat well at the plate. First base is open. Tying run at second. It's early in the ball game. Behind him, Paul Janisch, who has not been swinging the bat well.
Slider down and away.
He got it. I'll tell you what, for a guy that's known as a ground ball pitcher, he's racking up the strikeouts tonight. That is number 5 in 3 innings. The changeup, it looked like. Good pitch by Marquis. E470 Road Ahead brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. 4-game series with the Reds. That means the Rockies will play them Thursday afternoon as well. Then it's off to sunny San Diego, we assume. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then north to San Francisco. Thursday will be a day off for the Rockies, the following Thursday. And they will take on the Arizona Diamondbacks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as we really get ahead of ourselves. Jason Marquis at the plate, leading things off against 25-year-old Matt Maloney. And a ground ball to second. And last year's National League Gold Glove winner, Brandon Phillips, handles it, 1 out. There's Dexter Fowler. It's good to see him. Dexter's been in Tulsa the last few days. Just arrived recently to the ballpark. He wasn't even here during batting practice. He was getting checked out. He played the last 3 days in Tulsa. And from all reports, he's good to go.
Well, look at the smile. He's ready. Yeah. Joking around, hugs. Good to see him back and in uniform.
Here's Eric Young Jr. Did he get him? EY got the Rockies on the board in the first inning with a double over the head of Johnny Gomes, his first career extra base hit. Moved to third on a sac bunt by Gonzalez, and then Todd Helton brought him in on a deep drive on a 3-0 pitch to left center. 1-0 Colorado. Rockies have enjoyed a near immaculate homestand. They're 6-1. The Mets beat them last Thursday 8-3.
Yeah, Pat Mish. I mean, that would be probably the least likely guy out of the mix to do it. But then you turn around and you beat Dan Herring.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash.
2 hops to Giannis. The only time you get a 2-hopper short, you're in a panic to get rid of it.
Yeah. I said, uh-oh, I better throw my arm as hard as I can over there to first base. Throw the ball. That was arm, but it's the ball.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Another email, David in Denver. What is a non-roster player and what's the purpose for this status? We have a 40-man roster from which during the season you can take players, move them up and down off your 40-man. If you were to take a player, let's say, that was not on your 40-man, or you picked somebody up on waivers, you then would have to, if your 40-man was filled at 40, you would have to take somebody off the 40-man to make room for that player. Does that make sense, I hope?
Yeah, and a lot of
that. He can't answer me, though.
Well, a lot of the non-roster, no, he can't. David can. But a lot of the non-roster players we talk about usually during spring training, guys that are not on the roster going to spring training. There are a few guys now for the Rockies that are here right now that are not active, though. Sam Deduno on the left of a ball, though. This young man right there.
Texas League Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah, and also Ishmael Rogers are both in the ballpark, both just getting a feel for what it's like at the big league levels. There's Rogers. But they're not going to be activated unless something happens and you need a pitcher.
That's a strike, 2-2 on Gonzalez. And the Rockies did bring up 4 guys with the AAA season ending. Mike McCoy, who's a versatile guy who runs real well. Had a great year at Colorado Springs for first Tom Reynolds and then Stu Cole. High, 3-2. Matt Merton is back, so they have a right-handed power bat off the bench. Yolis Chacin is back. That's good news. And Matt Belisle is back. He's been up and down throughout the year. He's gotten in 15 ball games this year with the Rockies. And swung on and missed. So Maloney works a 1-2-3 third. We'll go to the 4th. The Rockies have the only run. Rizzo with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Drew, thanks very much. You know, oftentimes in the dugout when Jason Markey is not pitching, he'll be spending time with some other pitchers on the staff, helping them with whether it's their mechanics or something that he notices that they may not be doing right. I talked to him about it. He said, you know what, the reason I do it is because I love baseball, I love to pitch, and I'll talk about it as much as I can to anybody who is willing to listen. He said some, of course, are more approachable than others, but I'll do what I can to help them if I notice something that they're doing wrong. I said, is there anybody on this pitching staff that reminds you of yourself when you were younger, you know, younger days in the major leagues? He said, actually, Jorge de la Rosa, and the reason he says that is because he goes, I used to be the same way in terms of the mental game. He said, I used to allow things that I had no control over take control of me during the game. He said, I've tried to work with him on that and let him know that it's not that big of a deal, guys.
First big league chance, Alana, for Eric Young Jr. And he handled 5, 1 out. Well, Jason Markey is, I think, and you played on a lot of good teams. You want a mix, I would think, of guys coming up, guys getting there, you know, who maybe have a year or two of talent naturally, and some veteran guys to not only run the clubhouse but show how it's done out on the field.
Leadership. You need those guys. You have one in the field, and Todd Helton is the guy, and then also you need one from your starters to be the guy to show the young guys how to go about their business. Jason Markey, everywhere he's been a winner. His teams have made the playoffs. He understands what it takes to pitch at this level. He just goes out there and competes.
Yeah. Good to see Eric Young Jr. Do you remember your first chance? We always talk about first at bat in the big leagues.
Yeah,
but do you remember your first chance?
Yeah, it's nice to get it out of the way. I remember first ground ball I had it short, made the throw over and right on the money. I was like, phew, thank you. Now I can go to playing.
Ooh, that was dirty right there. You can't throw a slider like that on the inner half. No lefty's going to be able to hit that. 2-1 on Joey Votto.
Well, a Hyundai Cam 2 will show the tight rotation. We've seen some sloppy sliders the last couple days. That one was the old tight one where you can almost see the red dot on the ball.
He went back to it. He missed 3-1 on Votto. Just tell how much respect Markey has for Votto, the way he's pitching. Votto hit a ball about 400 feet his first time up. Carlos Gonzalez tracked it down in deep center. And he loses it. So with 1 out, Brandon Phillips will come up. Marlene and Aspen. Well, stomping grounds. Mr. Houston. You're the first person to refer to Jeff as Mr. Marlene. Jeff,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Marlene.
During your career, did you ever have a strained back? If so, did you play or take time off? And what's your opinion on Tulo's return? You know what? It's not Mr. Houston. It's Dr. Houston.
Well, I like that one too. But either way, yes, I have had a strained back while he's playing. It's one of those things that I look at it, Tulo, maybe a day or two's that at most. The way he was moving around talking to him today, everybody that walks has had a bad back. You understand how difficult it is just to get up out of the chair, out of the couch, whatever it is. Now you think about this having to go out there on the field, swing a bat, dive for a ball, make a throw, whatever it is, run the bases, all those things. You want to make sure that if you're gonna err, you're gonna err on the side of caution, where you make sure that if you think it's going to be 2 days, then I want to make sure that at the end of those 2 days I'm good. Because if you rush it back too soon, then it can be 5, 6, 7 day type of thing.
Yeah. And truth be told, Marlene, what we do here in the broadcast booth, because Jeff still on occasion suffers from back tightness, that's when Doug Marino, who is our superstar research guy, that's when he'll step in as this is slowly hit the third. Nice play by Atkins. 2 out. Doug Marino will actually step in and do a little massage therapy to get Huey ready for the broadcast.
Well, that's a good thing too, because typically the lower back, and then sometimes it even goes up to the upper back.
Yeah, see?
I mean,
this is what you don't see. This is right a rare peak.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, you only get this as a player.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't ever get that.
Thanks, Doug. Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course.
Buddy. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Doug read that in a pamphlet on his way to the ballpark today.
Marlene, thanks for asking, and you can ask any time. I get that back rub from Doug.
Yeah, those are expensive. 2 out, Scott Rowland at the plate. And it's the second time tonight Cincinnati has had a runner in scoring position. Votto's at second. Rolen struck out swinging his first time, and that's a strike.
We talked about what happened the last time Jason Marquis and Scott Rolen faced each other. I'm sure there was a little bit of nerves on both sides of that first at bat between Jason and Scott. Being former teammates, and this is what happened last time back in Cincinnati. We'll flash back to the game back the 1st of August. You can see Jason's reaction. He was just trying to come up and in just a little bit, not trying to hit him obviously in the head. Former teammates, very close when they were in the locker room. Jason felt awful about it. And Scott understood, you know what, it wasn't on purpose.
Good pitch. Well, Marquis was very disturbed about it, and Rolen, because he knew Marquis obviously didn't intend to do that and knew that he would be upset, on his way off the field, he mouthed to him, "I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay." And as it turned out, I mean, he was okay, but he tried to, stay off the DL and tried to return over the next couple of days, and he realized, you know what, he still was a little bit dizzy and some headaches, so they had to go ahead and put him on the disabled list. Here's the 1-2. 2-2. I think one of the great storylines, if you will, it's a pretty view of the ballpark, with Jason Marquis is the fact that he has been in the big leagues 9 seasons, and every single year his team has played in the postseason.
It just shows you what kind of leader he is.
This is chopped foul. Jason may have gotten away with a pitch there.
A very high slider that just kind of hung and spun. Unfortunately, it just hung and spun enough up in the zone and didn't break at all that Rolen just topped it off the plate. Jason's numbers in the postseason. A lot of guys just love the opportunity to pitch one game in the postseason, and Jason's pitched 10, and let's hope it's a few more in the pinstripes.
2-2. Torrealba moves away, and the slider bounces up there. On deck is Johnny Gomes, who Marquis also struck out back in the second inning. Again, 2 outs. Votto, who walked, moved to second on the fielder's choice ground out by Brandon Phillips. Rockies got a run in the first, double by Eric Young. Gonzalez moved him to third. Helton brought him home with a scoring fly ball. They'll probably go out there again with a slider, you would think. They did, and he got his buddy again. Jason Marquis matches his season high with 6 strikeouts. Middle of 4, 1-0 Colorado. His 62nd of the year off Steve Traxler in the 4th inning, and the Cardinals win that night. Todd Helton on a 3-0 pitch hit a long drive to left center field to bring home Eric Young Jr. RBI number 78 for Todd. Here's the 1-0, 2-0. It's the second time through now for Matt Maloney.
And that's typically when you'll see the young guys start to struggle a little bit, because the guys at this level have figured out where that arm slot is, where the ball's coming from.
He works up in the zone quite a bit, well, at least he has tonight.
Yeah, for a big guy at 6'4", really doesn't create that downward plane that we talk about where he finishes out in front. And that's been part of his problem. He's sometimes a little too long and lanky, even at that frame, to finish out in front. And that was better, but still 88 miles an hour. That's one thing Ted Powers, their pitching coach down in AAA, Louisville, was trying to work on him with. Is trying to be a little bit more compact where he could finish out in front, get better break on the pitches.
And Helton hits pop fly to shallow center. Giannis, woo, little white showing there, made the catch. That's why we use two hands, right?
That's right. I don't care how big the glove is. Still have to use two hands.
Garrett Atkins will come up with 1 out. This is the 5th career start for Matt Maloney. He allowed 2 home runs in each of his first 4 starts in the big leagues. Nothing approaching a home run yet for the Rockies tonight, though on the first 7 games of this homestand, in which they've won 6 ball games, they've hit 14 home runs, 2 a night.
Well, Maloney's numbers down in AAA this year, 9-9 with a 3.08 ERA, 130 strikeouts in 150 innings. But he's really a control pitcher down there, only walked 26 guys.
You know, his numbers right before his major league debut in early June were terrific. And he made a few starts in June. Had a 6+ ERA, and he was sent out. And he actually pitched worse down in AAA. I mean, he had been pitching really well, went down to AAA, and then had an ERA over 4 until he got another call up in late August. Outside 2-2. You want to know who's due to hit a home run at Coors Field, and that's that man, Garrett Atkins. Garrett has not hit a home run at Coors Field since April 25th. That's not going to leave the yard. Vladimir Ballantyne makes the catch. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Seth Smith. Chris writes in, Giambi played at first base in the series against the Diamondbacks. Will we continue to see him play defensively, or will he stick to his pinch hitting move? Almost exclusively, he'll be a pinch hitter for the Rockies. An opportunity with his presence and his great ability to give Todd Helton a bonus day off, but you know, 98% of the time the rest of the way. 24 games left, including tonight. You know, Todd's going to be out there 22 or 23 of them.
Yeah, and maybe once on this next road trip, you might see him somewhere with the off day. Who knows? If anything, maybe Sunday in San Diego before the series against San Francisco. But you're right, maybe 2 more starts out there for Giambi at first base, but mainly as a pinch hitter coming off the bench.
And that's worked well.
Yes, very nicely so far.
Here's the 0-1 on Smith. And a ground ball. It's cut off by Joey Votto. And another 1-2-3 inning for Maloney. So quietly, he has retired 7 in a row after the Rockies got an early run against him. home runs and 30 stolen bases in a season. Who are the 5 members of the 30-30 club? There's Seth Smith, and we have failed to tell you that as we predicted, which was a really difficult prediction, Seth Smith, the National League Player of the Week for his work last week when he hit .542 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Third Rocky to win that award this year. Johnny Gomes takes ball 1. The other 2, well, here's more on Seth. Sunday, first career multi-home run game. He slugged over 1,200, had 9 extra base hits. And the other 2, Houston Street and Ian Stewart. Stay in the park.
Whirlwind.
You got this, baby. You got this.
The reason why the wind just started picking up about the last 10 minutes. The flags are blowing in straight from center field. And when that ball was hit, it was like, okay, is the wind going to hold it up? Well, it held it up because it got up so high. If it goes up above the rock pile out in center field, that wind starts to catch it, and that's exactly what happened on that baseball there. Carlos Gonzalez goes back a long way for it, but he actually comes in that last step right on the warning track.
Smooth runner, isn't he?
Oh, makes it look effortless.
Vladimir Valentin takes a strike.
Yeah, when you're smooth like that too, your head doesn't bounce around, and that's why you're able to keep your eye on the ball and feel like, you know what, I've got this the whole time. The guys really fight their running when the ball's jumping around.
Ground ball past the diving Todd Helton, and Hop getting to the baseball. He may have a chance at Valentin. Valentin said, "Whoa, I'm not going to give him a chance." He would have been out. Great job by Brad Hop, holding Valentin to a single in a spot on the field. Ordinarily, it's automatically a double.
Well, what happened here was when Todd dove, he slowed the ball down just a little bit to allow Brad to get over there and then plant and make the strong one-hop throw to second base. If Todd hadn't stopped that or slowed it down a little bit, then that ball would have been into the corner much quicker, and he would have had a double.
That is a little play, you think? It's a big play.
It's a huge play because now you still have the double play in order with the number 8 hole hitter and Tatum up.
Tatum has the only other hit for Cincinnati. A ground ball right up the middle. He didn't hit it very hard. He just hit it in the right spot. Baum is playing short tonight for Tulowitzki. Troy is unavailable tonight. Eric Young Jr. playing second base for the first time in the big leagues. His other starts came in center field after Dexter Fowler, his buddy, was hurt.
Let's hope we get our first chance to see him turn a double play from second base.
1-1.
The speeds on Jason Marquis really, his fastball tonight have really varied. We've seen it all the way up to 93. We've seen it down to 87 miles an hour.
You know what he has tonight, Jeff, which he has had a good portion of his starts this year, but I think he really has it tonight. He has a good biting late slider.
And that's the one that really helps him out because you don't, as a hitter, you can't just sit on the sinking fastball then. And now if you get in the back of your mind, oh, I got that slider too. Well, especially for a right-handed hitter.
You got two pitches moving two different directions, right?
So now you look at his pitch count, 68 pitches, a very, very good number as we head here into the fifth inning. But it is so difficult as a hitter when you have to cover both sides of the plate. When I've got to also cover in because he's going to bust that sinking fastball down. And I've also got to worry about away. If you can close off just one part of the plate, it's much easier as a hitter.
Well, he's run it full on Tatum. The pitcher Maloney is on deck.
Let's see what confidence that Dusty Baker has in Tatum to put the ball in play if he starts Valentin.
Valentin not going. Pulled to Atkins. He's got to get to his feet. One play to first. He got it. Boy, it's a heads-up play by Garrett. And we've said it a lot in the second half, though Garrett typically has not been out at third. It's been more Ian Stewart. When given the opportunity, we've seen much greater range in the second half.
Notice how low he stays before he goes after that ball. Early in the year, he was standing up just a little bit more. That time, he stayed low, did the crossover, and then make the dive. And then when he caught the ball, because his momentum caused him to spin, realized, you know what, I got to come and get it and make the throw at first. And, of course, Todd Helton with the nice stretch from the Hyundai Cam coming off the bag. What a play all the way around.
Uh-oh, this one goes to the backstop. And now Ballantine to third. That'll be a wild pitch on Marquis. Don't go to sleep on this kid at the plate. He swings the bat pretty well. His numbers in Louisville this year were impressive by a pitcher standard.
Well, he's just come up in either the Philly system or now here in Cincinnati, where they're going to start hitting at the AA level, and then it just carried on into the AAA level.
Stay fair. It does. Oh, it did. It looked like it went right over the bag, but of course Jeff Kellogg had a better view than we did.
I was just concerned that ball might hit the bag.
That's what I was thinking.
That's very nice of Jorvik to stand the bat up. And one more look right down the line here. And this is what Jeff Kellogg's looking at, too. And notice how he turned his head a little bit to try to create a little bit better angle so he could see it right around Todd Helton. I was just concerned it was going to hit the bag and kick off one way or the other.
It's the same ball. He's going to need help from Marquis. Good job. Well, you take those little plays like that for granted. Not as easy as it looks. Rockies lead, middle of 5, 1-0. Yeah, it's a good question. They're always good questions. Who are the 5 middle infielders in big league history to have 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases in a season? The reason we asked, there's one in the ballpark. Brandon Phillips, been a 30-30 man. Alfonso Soriano, when he was playing second, used to regularly have those kind of years. Barry Larkin as a shortstop. A-Rod when he was a shortstop. And J-Roll a couple years ago. Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy Rollins, you and I both love the MLB Network. It's a great new channel that covers Major League Baseball like few can do it, because that's what they're dedicated to every night. And they have a lot of programming that has to do with the history of the game and the history, historic games and great players. Well, they had a piece I was watching today on Ricky Henderson, who just went into the Hall. Here's the 0-1 on Brad. Fouls it off. He had a base hit his first time up. And it was narrated by Jimmy Rollins, who is from the Oakland area. And of course, Ricky is from there as well. Jimmy Rollins loved Ricky Henderson growing up. And I have to tell you what, not only is it exceptionally well done, Jimmy Rollins did a marvelous job.
He's fun to interview. I mean, he's just fun to talk baseball with. One of those guys that loves the game, and he understands the history of the game. Not a lot of young guys coming up now understand the history of baseball or players from the past, which is a little unfortunate. But when you get around a guy like a Jimmy Rollins and talk to him, that is fun.
Yep, he understands the game, and he understands the past. Here's the 1-2, and it's fouled off. Well, how's Matt Maloney been successful so far?
Well, so far he's been able to work that fastball to both sides of the plate. Before coming up and talking to some scouts, they were saying, well, he really can't command both sides of the plate, arm side and glove side. He can usually go to his arm side because the way he stays on the rubber, he stays on the very first base side of the rubber, so he has trouble getting it away to lefties or inside to right-handed hitters. Well, tonight that has not been a problem for him.
Brad's going to back out on Maloney.
Maloney wants to throw a changeup to a left-handed hitter. I mean, that's what he was shaking to. Don't see this too often.
Brad saw it. You know that the ball was up and in. He covered it just in case, but he saw that pretty well.
Yeah, and the problem is if you throw a lefty a changeup as a left-handed pitcher down and in, and you miss your spot, it's going to get hit a long ways. And Tatum reached all the way across his body, but if that ball is down about 6 inches, it's out of here.
Well, he went back to it, and he got Brad to swing in a pitch that was actually out of the strike zone. Second strikeout of the ball game for Maloney. He has retired 8 in a row. Here comes Yorvit Torrealba. He had a base hit his first time up. Now his 16-game hitting streak, best of his career. Ties the Rockies' season high set by Todd Helton earlier. He's driving in a slew of runs during the streak also. Hitting down on the lineup, 8 RBIs. There's a strike.
That's some big RBIs too. I mean, games to stretch him out, put him in the lead late in the ball game.
Haven't seen too many curveballs. That missed. 1-1. Kaz has Torrealba won back the starting job as catcher for the rest of the season. Well, as of right now, he's the starting catcher.
Yeah, I would assume so, or at least for the next week or so. See how that if the bat continues to play out the rest of the year with his few games is left. Yeah, it's his from here on out.
Yeah, and Chris has been in a year-long battle to find a consistent swing, and now he's utilizing a toe tap, new timing mechanism. 3-1. Fortunately, the Rockies have 2 very good catchers, and Torrealba is in a really good place offensively.
Well, think about what he did back in '07 for the Rockies.
Caught every day.
He caught every game down the stretch, and so it's not foreign territory to him.
Roland throws out Yorvit, 2 outs. That'll bring up Clint Barmes. Rockies up 1-0. Oh, we got a great Geico quote of the day for you. Dave Bristol, who was the Reds manager back in the late 60s. They were not the big red machine then. There'll be 2 buses leaving the hotel for the park tomorrow, he told his team. The 2 o'clock bus will be for those of you who need a little work. The empty bus will leave at 5 o'clock. That's classic.
That is a classic.
This ball's driven to center field, and it's going to drop. So Barmes with the base hit. That'll flip the lineup over. Jason Marquis coming up with 2 outs. And that ends a string of 8 set down in a row by the 25-year-old making his 5th career start, Matt Maloney. Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Maloney has hit 91. Marquis has hit 93. All of that brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. Jason grounded to second base his first time up.
the first time all year, Jason's average has been below 200.
Which means he's going to rip a hit here. 0-2. How about this with Maloney and the Reds? Maloney's the only lefty. This is his 5th start. The only lefty to start a game this year for Cincinnati. But it's not just this year for the Reds rotation. Yeah, Volquez, who's got Tommy John surgery, unfortunately. Johnny Cueto, who's pitching well. Big Aaron Harang, who's out with an appendectomy. Bronson Arroyo, who you'll see tomorrow. All right-handed pitchers. So, this is pop foul. So Maloney is only the 2nd lefty to start a ball game for the Reds over a stretch of 236 games. In fact, last year, the first 161 games started all by righties for Dusty Baker. And then Adam Pettyjohn took the ball in the season finale, and Pettyjohn's a left-hander.
That's shocking that many games and it's all right-handed pitching.
It really is. This is a high pop toward Brandon Phillips. Varmus had a base hit. We move on to the 6th inning. Amazingly, only 1 run. $49 per gallon. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex and printing online at dexknows.com. You know what? I feel much safer now. I did not realize the superheroes were in the park.
It's just nice that they all get along.
It's very unusual that you see them all in one small area. You know?
Did they lose a bet?
No. They are legitimately superheroes. At the knees for a strike on Drew Stubbs, the leadoff hitter for the Reds in the top of the 6th inning. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Jason Marquis has matched his season high with 6 punch-outs in the ball game. He has limited the Reds to 2 singles, and he's walked 1 hitter. That's just off the corner, 1-1. With Jeff Hewson and Alana Rizzo, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies have won 6 of their first 7 on this homestand. And a ground ball, foul. Early score from Phoenix. The Diamondbacks in the 1st inning lead the Dodgers 2-1. Giants and Padres have yet to start. Rockies 3.5 behind LA, 2 up on the Giants in the wild card. 1-2 on Drew Stubbs.
Baumgartner's getting a start for Lincecum, one of their top pitching prospects.
Madison Bumgarner, who is not only one of the top pitching prospects for the Giants, he is their top pitching prospect. He's one of the top pitching prospects in baseball, which is good for the Giants because they really need pitching.
Yeah, that's all they need.
Chris Spire to the left of Dusty Baker. 3-2 on Stubbs. Ooh, how did he not offer it that slider? Probably because he struck out on it the first 2 times.
Yeah, that's exactly what they threw to him the first 2 times up to strike out. He said, I'm not going to swing at it this time.
Well, now you have a situation for Jason Marquis because Stubbs, upon his call-up, was leading the International League in stolen bases with 46 bags.
Well, also a guy, Giannis, he's not a very good hitter, but he will hit and run. He will bunt, too.
There's the bunt right back to Marquis, but Stubbs is way too fast. So a runner in scoring position for Joey Votto. It's the tying run. Alex writes in, Ubaldo Jimenez leads National League pitchers in total pitches thrown. How does the Rockies coaching staff monitor Jimenez for signs of overuse? Yeah, he hasn't had any signs of overuse. He tweaked his hamstring a little bit running the bases yesterday. I don't know if you recall, yesterday I made mention of the fact that in one of his recent starts, on his 125th pitch in the 8th inning, he threw a 99-mile-an-hour heater.
Yeah, that's not really an issue for Ubaldo. They do keep track of pitch counts, everything that we talk about. We see it up there. They know those numbers, but also it's the player that tells them how they feel. A young man like Ubaldo, he feels good all the time he goes out there. It's just unfortunate, tight little hamstring got him yesterday.
1-1 on Votto, who's hitting .330 with runners in scoring position. He's in, by his standards, a little bit of a slump, and you know he's going to come out of it. You just hope when he comes out of it, the Reds are out of town.
I think for Votto, he just uses the whole field, not truly just a pull hitter.
Barmes will throw out Votto. And with 2 outs, Stubbs is at third. Brandon Phillips is at the plate.
And so far, Jason Marquis, 8 ground ball outs, 3 fly outs, and those 6 strikeouts you talked about, Drew.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Windshield damage, please call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. The New York kid from Tottenville High School in Staten Island. Success has followed him wherever he has played. From his Little League days when he took his Staten Island team to Williamsport, to the big leagues where every year his team has played in the postseason. Brandon Phillips takes down low. Dangerous man, Phillips. 19 home runs. He's driven in 85. That's Viola down in the bullpen. Pedro Viola.
Well, just a few moments ago, he had a shot at Dusty Baker, and looking back into this dugout, it looked like Maloney was looking at his finger like maybe he might have a blister. There's Dusty. He was back talking a moment ago to Matt Maloney. And maybe it's just one of those precautionary things. They got him up just in case. You're going to send him back out there next inning, see how it feels. Have somebody ready for him.
Phillips hits a ground ball toward the middle. Barmes spins, throws. Hilton's got it. Foot on the bag. Inning over. Well done by Clint Barmes. You forget, he was pretty good shortstop before he got pushed over to second. Nice play by Barmes. 1-0 it remains. Colorado in front. Jason Marquis has matched his season high with 6 punch-outs in the ball game. He's had an effective slider tonight and his typical real good sinker. That's our Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. Well, Huey, you were onto something. We're just guessing right now, but Maloney, the way he was pitching, would not be coming out of the ball game. So maybe he did develop a blister or some other injury, because Pedro Viola is into the ball game, making his major league debut, the 26-year-old Dominican. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast.
And a 6'1", 185-pounder out of the Dominican Republic. This is one of those things, too. If you're the Rockies, you're looking at this. You know the guys on the roster. You just don't have a whole lot of information about them, so you got to go up there. And this is where a guy like Eric Young Jr. is so important, because you think about this. Louisville plays in the International League. Colorado Springs is in the Pacific Coast League, so you're really not going to overlap or see anything. So Eric Young, after this at-bat, is going to have to go back to the dugout and say, listen, guys, this is what the ball looks like. This is where it's coming from. This is the type of movement it has on it.
He's got a good arm. That was just evidenced by his first pitch, 92 miles an hour on the inside corner, just off the inside corner. His numbers, as he misses there, 2-0 at Louisville. They don't blow you away. 54 ball games. He had an ERA of 5.47. He gave up 48 hits, 49 in a third. He walked better than 5 hitters per 9 innings, so that's not good. He did strike out 57 and 49 in a third, so he has the ability to get the punch out. Quick arm, 3-1.
Dusty Baker, seen him during spring training, and that's where they first saw this guy this year.
This ball driven to deep left field. Young Jr. first career home run. How good that must feel. And somebody put a seatbelt on Dad wherever he's watching from tonight.
Love the enthusiasm. When that ball got out in a hurry. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, belt high inner third. He just turned on it. When his ball was hit, he knew it was gone.
And you know what? That's not any old home run.
No.
It is a tight ball game, and now it's 2-0. It's huge.
No, Hyundai Cam, the extension, the fall through, he knew it as soon as he hit it. Looked a lot like his dad on that finish there.
Really did.
Yeah, I mean, a lot the way Eric Young used to swing and hit it. Take a look at the side. Just a little bit of a toe tap, hands go back, and then the hip rotation. I mean, that's just the way his dad finished up with his swing every once in a while when he hit the home run. But you're right, Drew. That's a big home run. So put it to a 2-0 lead now.
That's awesome. Congratulations to Eric Young Jr. 2-0 on Carlos Gonzalez. And a broken bat roller to Votto. Carlos Gonzalez is gone.
You know, another good thing about that too, he hit that at home, so he's going to be able to get that baseball back. Right down in the tunnel over there, so they'll have that ball for EY after the game.
That brings me to another story that Todd told me on the fly ball that he hit the shallow left that EY scored last night. It was a huge run. It made it 3-2, and then Tulowitzki followed with a base hit to tie it up in the 7th inning. And Ian Stewart ostensibly won it with the home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. But Todd, when he hit it, he said, "Oh man," he was mad at himself because he didn't hit it deep enough, he thought. And then he kind of glanced down at third. He said, "Wait a second, EY's down there.
Yeah.
Man, I got a chance."
That's nice when you look up there, and go, "No man, that's 0 for 1. I had a chance to drive in the run." RB, Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Never
there
mind.
he is. That's good.
I'm
That's
0 for
deep
0
enough.
with an RBI.
2-1 on Helt. Eric Young Jr. has occasional pop in Colorado Springs this year. He hit 7 home runs.
And the word on Matt Maloney was indeed a blister on his left middle finger.
So you weren't just goofing around calling you doctor earlier.
No.
You knew what you were talking about.
I could see that. Anytime pitcher starts looking at his finger like that, it's not a good sign.
Todd loops it to left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Garrett Atkins coming up with 1 out. Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. If the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. Garrett, a ground ball to second and a fly ball to right. Outfield straight up, infield preparing for a ground ball to try to turn 2.
Hey, Coca-Cola value packs are the best deal in the ballpark and now are available on all Monday through Thursday games in September. For $49, you get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, parking, and a Rockies magazine. Buy your value pack today by calling 1-800-388-ROCK or go to ColoradoRockies.com.
Atkins fouls off the 0-2 fastball. I was thinking about the statement you made. It was good for EY that he hit the ball at home. Gives him a great chance to get the baseball back. Anymore on the road, they throw it back down when it's in the seat, so you get a chance.
Well, it used to be where you had to barter for it. You had to go give them a bat or a glove or a jersey or something. Now they just toss it back to the field.
A strikeout of Atkins for Viola. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Seth Smith. Smith tonight, a fly ball to center field and a sharp ground ball to first. Kyle and Boulder, who do you think has had the best performance this year as far as first year Rockies? Well, Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, the first couple. When you say first year, I can't answer. I can't ask you this, Kyle, because you can't give me an answer. Are you talking about guys who were in uniform of the Rockies for the first time, or guys literally primarily in their first year, like Dexter Fowler? Gonzalez had 300 at bats basically last year in Oakland. But there's been a lot of first-year Rockies, first-time Rockies who've done well. Houston Street, Jason Marquis.
Yeah, if it's just first-time Rockies, I'd probably have to say Houston Street and the saves that he's been able to do.
One blown save all year, up and in, 2-0.
But then I'd have to say, just for first time, I'd have to say Dexter Fowler jumping from Double-A to the big league level. Carlos Gonzalez has had a taste at the big league level. Dexter's just done it coming from Double-A without a stop in Triple-A.
Yeah, I was talking to a fan today, and one of the beautiful things about when you have a team in contention, particularly out here with the Rockies in this region, people love baseball. They get behind the Rockies. We saw how crazy things were in 07, and we know what happened in the decade of the 90s after the Rockies arrived in 93. The great moment by Eric Young Sr. got it all going at Mile High Stadium. People are getting home from work. They're turning on the Rockies. They're coming out to the ballpark.
Well, anywhere we go, I mean, and you just go out anywhere in the community, that's the first thing people want to talk about, and that's so much fun.
Absolutely. And this ball is in the air to center field. Drew Stubbs waiting for it, and he has it. But the Rockies get another run. Eric Young Jr. rips one to left over the wall. First career home run, first career RBI. 2-0 Colorado. We're off to the 7th. run. Jim Tracy talking to him right now on the bench. He said, wait a second, shouldn't he be out on defense? Well, with a 2-0 lead, 7th inning, the Rockies will go for defense now. And Omar Quintanilla, who is a very, very steady glove, will go in at second base for Young. And Jason Marquis' first pitch to Scott Rowland is down low, ball 1.
And that's not the first time we've seen Jim Tracy do this. We've seen him do it out in the outfield with Seth Smith and go for more defense. That's what he's doing right now. They're putting Q out there.
You have a sinker ball pitcher
and plus,
also.
Yeah, Q has more experience. He's done it at the big league level. But what a special night for Eric Young Jr. Double, scored both the runs, had his first major league home run.
That was like a pitch back off the brick wall.
Still make pitchbacks?
Sure.
Those are so much fun growing up. You throw those in play for hours outside.
If you change the angle just right, you can throw one and hit your neighbor's house.
Speaking from experience?
Never happened. Two balls, 2 strikes. Rockies have won 13 of their last 16 encounters with the Reds. 3-1 Arizona now over the Dodgers in the 3rd. And this is a pop-up that Torrealba is going to race for, and unfortunately not have an opportunity to catch. Well, if you throw a ball off the pitch back and then it lands on your neighbor's car windshield, you have a problem. Your neighbor has a problem, but you really have a problem. So what you would do then is call Elite Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000, or you go online on your computer at safelite.com. You handle the situation.
That was a very nice segue, as you'd like to say in the business. But Dougie gave me another interesting stat here. $99 at Amazon.com for the pitch back.
How much?
$99.
Dougie, nice. 3-2 on Rowland, ground ball, foul. 93 pitches in the ball game. Top of the 7th inning for Jason Marquis, hunting his 15th win of the year, which would match his career high. Went 15-7 back in 2004. Good pitch, real good pitch. Rowland retired, and that'll bring up Johnny Gomes. Our Verizon speed of the game yesterday. A little infield hit for Eric Young Jr. It's like a superhero getting up the line. And then watch his health is upset initially. I didn't hit it far enough. Well, yes, you did. That was a huge run. Made it 3-2, and then a base hit with Carlos Gonzalez moving to 3rd on that by Tulowitzki. Tied it up. Johnny Gomes with a home run cut. He has no other swing.
No, that's all it is. And there's no 2-strike swing either with Gomes. It's just all or nothing. That's usually what he's up there doing. Trying to hit the long ball. He just stands and looks like a home run type hitter.
Yes, he does.
You got that elbow pad, little pine tar on the helmet.
Yeah, he got the big guns.
Yep.
He means business when he goes up there. You know, you have to be true to you. That's what he
right.
is.
That's what he is. Why?
That's why he's in the big leagues.
That's right. Well, look at that.
Slider 1 and 2.
But that's how you work a guy that just swings like he does.
Yes, Johnny, I don't care about any stinking strikeouts. You think Mark Reynolds cares about the punch outs? You got
Nope.
41 big flies.
Yep. Go ahead, and if you're going to do anything, throw it inside or throw it down and away. One of the two.
So with a guy like that, throwing it inside would scare me.
Oh, yeah. You miss, and he's still strong enough to just fist it out of the ballpark. I like the hard slider down and away.
That's what Torrealba wants, and he struck him out. That's a season best 7 strikeouts now for Marquis. He has brought his A slider. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo, our great Colorado Payback sideline report. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. You and Huey were talking about lower back pain earlier. Jeff Houston had some of that as a player. That's exactly what Ian Stewart is dealing with. That's why he's out of the ball game today, and Garrett Atkins is in at third. I talked to him earlier today. He said, you know what, it's not something I've ever had in my career. He goes, but it's not anything serious. He's been working with the training staff here on stemming the lower back. He's getting some massages. Poor guy. And he's also walked in the pool here to try to stretch it out. He said it feels much better. Jim Tracy earlier today said he could come into the ball game if he's needed as a pinch hitter, but he should certainly be in the lineup tomorrow, guys.
Well, hopefully that's the case.
His is not as quite as severe as Troy's was. Troy's locked up a little bit more, a strain, and then it spasmed just a little bit more was the indication that we got from the trainers. Ian Stewart's was more just a little bit of a tightness type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we made this perfectly clear, but yesterday we didn't even realize when we left the ballpark that Jimenez had an injury. It happened in the third inning. He went and pitched another 3 innings.
Yeah, and it didn't even notice it. I mean, his velocity went down a little bit, but not enough where it would have raised a red flag and said, wow, he's been pitching at 98. All of a sudden, he's down to 92. I mean, he was still right at the 95, 96 mile an hour mark. But it's it's his lead leg, his landing leg, right in the belly of the hamstring muscle.
3-2.
And here's the injury we were talking about, folks. He's fine until he turns right there. Right, and hits the bag, and you can see him pull up at the end.
You know, right there is one of the reasons, ball 4 on Ballantine, it's one of the reasons that managers, given their druthers, more often than not would rather see the pitcher swing and miss and go sit down in the dugout.
Yeah, so they don't have to run the bases. Remember, though, right before that, there was a couple foul balls. So Ubaldo had run twice already to third base before he then had to try to score from second base on the hit.
Craig Tatum at the plate. And right at the second baseman, Quintanilla. Omar flips it to Barmes, and that is all for the Reds in the 7th. Rockies 2, Cincinnati nothing. Stretch. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Another good crowd at Coors Field. Tuesday night at the ballpark, the Rockies lead the Reds 2-0. Jason Marquis has been just terrific. And the Rockies got an early run against Matt Maloney. He had to leave with a blister after 5 innings. The kid had pitched well. Pedro Viola came on in the 6th. He's still out there at least to begin the 7th with Brad Hopp leading off. Then you have a couple of right-handed bats. So we'll see if Dusty Baker stays with him. Ramon Ramirez, not the former Rocky. He's now with the Red Sox. It's a different Ramon Ramirez is out there in the pen. Slider missed, ball 1. It is Ramon A. Ramirez. (2-0) on Hop. Brad a sharp single to right in the 2nd, and he struck out in the 5th inning.
Hey, if you're not already a season ticket holder, the best way to guarantee your opportunity to purchase 2009 postseason tickets is to make a 2010 season ticket deposit. This is a limited time offer, so act now. Call 303 Rockies or go online to ColoradoRockies.com to guarantee postseason tickets.
3-1 on Brad. It is the 7th inning. The Rockies have thrived in late innings. They have 222 runs this year.
What's up?
From the 7th inning on. That's second best in the National League to the Dodgers, who have scored 226. Now time to check another email. Dan writes in as hitting tips. What do, and these are terms we use quite a bit, staying behind the ball and avoid hitting off your front foot mean? Jeff?
Well, staying behind the ball when you go to swing, to make sure that when you swing and make contact, your head is behind the ball and the barrel of the bat, and not this way. When we talk about getting out on your front foot, the same thing. Don't get out here so all your weight has already left before you start to swing the bat. I mean, those are really two key to hitting, is to make sure that when you go to swing, that front foot locks in, and I still have all my weight before I start to make that transfer. If I lose my hips and everything starts to slide this way a little bit, it's not very good. You get weak fly balls, easy rollover ground balls, that sort of thing.
You lose a lot of bat speed.
Yep, and a lot of power, everything. It's just not good.
Not good. 1-0 on Yorvi Torrealba. Torrealba base hit earlier in the ball game. Now it's a 16-game hitting streak. Matt Merton, the redhead, with the batting gloves on. And now the thumb guard. Look at him. The helmet will be next. Bringing Matt up. Gives the Rockies some thump off the bench on the right side. This ball up the middle, and it's cut off. And it's a double play ground ball as Giannis fires to first.
Ball up the middle. Giannis, known for his defense, ranges to his left, makes the scoop, and then rather than flip it, step right on the bag and make the strong throw over to Joey Votto at first base. Well, now with 2 outs, Matt Merton's taking the thumb guard off, put the helmet away.
Marquis.
Yeah, with 2 outs now, and even if Clint gets on, Marquis would still hit. I mean, 95, 96 pitches now.
Oh, and 2 on Clint. Outside. Rockies 23-10 this year against the Central Division. Remember earlier this year they had a 15-game win streak against the Central. This ball bouncing toward Brandon Phillips. And it turns into a 1-2-3 inning despite the walk to Brad Hopp. We'll go to the 8th inning. The Rockies 2, the Reds nothing. Online.com or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. Welcome to downtown Denver. Jason Marquis, 105 pitches in. Has a shutout through 7 innings. He's back out there for the 8th inning. In the 9-hole, the switch hitter Drew Sutton will pinch hit for the Reds. And the first pitch outside, ball 1. Rockies have right-hander in Rafael Betancourt. He's primarily the Rockies' 8th inning man. He's up, and on the left side, Randy Flores. It's a line drive base hit for Sutton. And now at the top of the order coming up. See how the Rockies play it. 2-0 ball game. Mike writes in order to be eligible for postseason play, does a player have to be on the 40-man roster on the active 25-man roster at the end of August? That pitch is high.
It's a 25-man roster, but that also includes guys that are on the DL during that time. That's why it always you talk about guys that they need to be there by August 31st. So they're eligible for the playoffs. Now there's a few rules. If guys get hurt, you can replace them with another infielder if that was the guy that was hurt, or a pitcher. But there's specific rules on that. You can't just bring a guy along and say, okay, well, we're going to put him on. But a guy like Jeff Francis, he's on the 60-day DL. Now, that's not going to happen, but theoretically, he could be available to pitch in the postseason. It's not going to happen because of where he's at. But just rule-wise, he could.
2 balls and a strike on Stubbs. 2 strikeouts and a walk against Marquis. Marquis trying to get a ground ball here with Drew Sutton at first base.
Well, he's got 2 more hitters. I mean, that's really what he has left to work with. Is with the lefty Votto, go get Flores to face him.
This is going to turn into an infield hit. Took the glove off of Marquis, and It's kind of unfortunate it did. There's no way Marquis going to know this, but if the ball is not flagged down by Marquis, it's probably a double play ball.
Yeah, it is. Notice right where Omar Quintanilla is. He's going to get a good jump on that. He had the jump on it, and that ball was hit. Marquis almost makes it. If he makes the play, it's a double play because he's going to be able to get Sutton, who is at first base.
And if you're wondering, well, would Jim Tracy go to the bullpen here? He's set up. He wants a sinker baller in here right now.
Yep.
He wants Marquis to try to get a ground ball. And Betancourt's more of a four-seam fastball guy, not a guy who's going to get as many ground balls. Bunt attempt, and man, Torrealba gave a great effort.
Man. Yes, he did. That's why Jason Marquis is going to go pick up his mask for him, because of the effort that he had going after that baseball. Giannis tried to bunt, dropped the barrel, ball pops up. Whoever flips the mask off, an all-out dive to try to get the baseball. One more look at it. What an effort from Jorvik. We'll still have the bunt on with Giannis more than likely.
Well, he got it down in the 6th inning, but now it's 0-2. Joey Votto is on deck.
Yeah, how about that? He's 3 for 35 against the Rockies with runners in scoring position, including 0 for 5 tonight with the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see if Dusty keeps the bunt on for Giannis to keep him out of the double play. Nope.
Ground ball. Was it hit hard enough for 2? Nope. Lama says, I'm going to take the out at first. Could he have gotten the out at second?
Well, maybe. His only thinking might have been with Drew Stubbs, the guy that can run really good over there. One more look at this before we see Jim Tracy go out. Wasn't hit that hard, unfortunately. That's the thing about it. If he stays back, might have an opportunity to flip over to second base. Omar is there, but you see how close Drew Stubbs was. I think he made the wise play going to get Giannis at first base, and fans are giving Jason Marquis the right reception as he leaves the field tonight.
Marvelous performance by Marquis. He leads with a 2-0 lead. Right now with 1 out. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. So Randy Flores, you assume, is in there for one batter, and that's Joey Votto. Now, Votto's been slumping, but this year, left on left, this is the kind of hitter he is. He is a .314 stick, 38 for 121, including 7 home runs. So he hits lefties also.
No,
Flores misses, ball 1.
0 for 1 in his career against Flores.
Jim Tracy loves having a couple of left-handed options. He has Beimel. He has Flores. Right now his closer's left-handed in Morales. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball to Helton. The run will come home. 2 outs. And now I'm sure you'll see Jim Tracy again with Brandon Phillips coming up.
There we go, get Betancourt.
Here comes Trace.
Well, that's exactly what he's going to do. Go get the righty, go right on right matchup. Your 8th inning guy.
Good job. Slap on the backside. Off goes Flores. 2-1 ball game. 2 outs in the 8th. Votto on the fielder's choice. 1 run came home. It's 2-1 Colorado. There's 10 combined hits in the ball game. The Rockies have 6 of those 10. Rafael Betancourt's assignment to get Brandon Phillips, the cleanup hitter, and his former teammate in Cleveland. Phillips 2 for 6 against Betancourt.
Not an easy task for Rafael because of the way that, to me, Brandon Phillips can cover the plate as well as anybody on the Cincinnati Reds ball club. You come inside, he can jump you to the left side, but if you try to pitch him away, he'll just hit the ball to right field. You have to mix it up. Go maybe a first pitch slider and not just the fastball away.
It was a first pitch slider, but it missed. Brandon Phillips, tough out. His 85 RBIs, the most among any National League second baseman. He's ahead of Chase Utley of Philadelphia in that category. Also stolen bases, he's ahead of Utley. Utley has 17. He went around. 1-1.
Well, that's huge.
That was a gift.
Yeah, that was a gift. That is so big. Instead of falling behind 2-0, missed your location, high fastball. Phillips just couldn't hold up. He doesn't even use any leg kick at all or anything to get that momentum other than just a little weight transfer with the hips.
Drew Stubbs is at third. He's the tying run in the 8th. That's a strike, 1-2.
Wow.
Brandon Phillips conversing now with Rick Reed.
I'm surprised Rick Reed didn't rip off his mask and say, wait a second. That ball looked like it was off the plate. Yeah, it was, at least maybe from that angle a little bit. You got him set up now to go back outside again with the fastball, or you can throw the hard slider that starts right on that outside part and then breaks away.
1-2, fouled off. He went with the fastball.
Ooh. Trying to go up into the zone. Try to get him swing like he did the very first strike of this at bat. Unfortunately, Phillips fouled that back because that had too much to the plate.
Phillips, the guy with power, does not strike out all that much.
Well, look for him to go back right over into this area right there.
Good block by Torrealba. As a catcher, you know in the back of your mind, that runner at third, you call that slider and you ask for it down and away, you know there's a very good chance it's going to bounce, and you have to block it.
Well, and with a guy like Stubbs there over at first base, who has very, very good speed, good base runner, Garrett Atkins playing back. Of course, he wants to make sure he's got enough range over at third base, so Stubbs can get a little bit further off at third base, so that ball doesn't have to get very far away.
2-2. Big pitch here. Betancourt to Phillips. Fouled off again.
Yeah, that's the plate coverage I was talking about with Phillips. The way he's able to cover both sides of the plate, because he's so spread out. He really just tries to use those hands.
And again, he uses those hands to foul off a high fastball at 94.
Well, he's so wide, as I mentioned, with his legs. So the only movement he has going back is just a little bit of rock from his left leg back to his right leg before he goes to swing the bat. That allows you to wait on the baseball a little bit longer.
And typical of most late inning guys, they're two-pitch pitchers. And Betancourt is a fastball slider guy. You're not going to all of a sudden see him throw a changeup up there. It's not his style. 2-2 again. And it's up and in. 3-2.
Now that one hit the location exactly where he wanted it. Yorvit had called for it up. Went in just a little bit more than he wanted to, but still you get a guy like Phillips to stand him up. What you're looking at now, you can work him back down away again.
Fastball or slider?
It's a fastball away. He's right onto this corner, right again, right out there.
Here's the 3-2.
I put it exactly where Yorvit had called for the ball. And that was the one that was called a strike earlier in this at bat by Rick Reed. When Brandon Phillips had a little conversation, so he knew that if it went back out there again, he's going to have to swing.
Good point. 10th pitch of the at bat. Left field, here comes Smith, he's got it, and Betancourt wins the battle with his former Cleveland teammate, Brandon Phillips, who says something to him as he walks off. Complimentary, it looked like. 2-1 Colorado. Let FSN's team of experts get you ready for CU football. Football Rundown presented by Toyota. 30 minutes before every Colorado home football game. Get exclusive interviews, analysis, and a breakdown of the Bucs' next matchup with all the excitement of college game day. Football Rundown presented by Toyota. Again, it's 30 minutes before every CU home football game this year. Right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. Ryan Spilborghs against Daniel Ray Herrera, and the sliders off the plate, ball one. Spilborghs pinch hitting for Betancourt. So it's Spilborghs and then the top of the order. Two and up. Jason Marquis with a marvelous job. He's on the plus side after Flores and Betancourt helped him out in the eighth. 7 1/3, 1 run, just 4 hits, 3 walks, a season high 7 strikeouts. And this ball is hit well to right center field by Spilborghs, and it should hops the wall. Valentine will throw it back in, a lead-off 8th inning double for Spilborghs.
It's been a while since we've seen him drive that ball to right field like that.
Last time it went over the wall for Grant Salami.
That's right. This time he takes the 2-0 fastball that was up and stays on it, stays through the baseball. Hyundai Cam give a good picture of the finish and the follow through in that hip rotation. We talk about driving it over the head. A Valentine out in right field for the leadoff double.
And it snapped an 0 for 10 spell for Spilborghs, I believe, since the grand slam.
Yeah, it is exactly right. And Franklin Morales getting loose, going to be in the ball game next inning. That sets up perfectly for Omar Quintanilla, who went in for Eric Young Jr. to be able to lay down a bunt.
Stay on the line. Stay on the line. Fair ball. Craig Tatum waits one more beat. Everybody's going to be safe. Nice job by Quintanilla.
That's much like what happened back in the first inning with the leadoff double from Eric Young. He got the bunt and then the sac fly. Now the same thing. Spilly with the double. And what a bunt right on the line for Omar Quintanilla. And now the Reds have to play the infield in.
And you have Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. Rockies trying to get that all-important 2-run lead late. Gonzalez had a sac bunt of his own back in the first as the Rockies got the first run of the game. Strikeout and a ground out since.
Make sure you stay on the ball if you're Carlos. One area is just away from him that's giving him a little trouble, left on left.
2-0. Here's the 2-0. And that'll get it done. You can jog home. Ryan Spilborghs make it 3-1 Colorado. Nice job by Carlos Gonzalez. Rockies built a run there after the leadoff double by Spilborghs.
Well, 2 out of their 3 runs tonight, Drew, have been manufactured. You get the leadoff doubles, you get the sac bunts. We talk about doing the little things to help you win ball games. That's what this club has done. Unselfish play, and then you get the sac flies. It's not always about hitting the ball out of the ballpark or doubles or triples or whatever. You got to manufacture runs sometimes.
You know, winning teams do that, particularly winning teams in September.
54th sacrifice fly on the year now for the Rockies. Tops in the National League.
Remember all that time they spent back in March on fundamentals? Every day they played these hitting games where you had to sack bunt, you had to squeeze, you had to hit and run. You had to bring a runner home from third, get the ball in the air. Every single day of spring training, and it's paid dividends here during the regular season. There's no question about it. 2-2 on help. Well, elsewhere, some good news as opposed to yesterday. Arizona leading the Dodgers in the 5th. And the Giants, though, have a 2-1 lead on San Diego in the 3rd. Again, Tim Lincecum not making that start. He was scratched. He has some back issues. Remember earlier, Eric Young Jr. in the 6th inning hit his first career home run. Came against Pedro Viola, who was making his big league debut. And since 1974, it's only the 3rd time that a player has hit his first big league home run off a pitcher facing his first major league batter. Strike 3 on help. It happened Saturday, believe it or not. It happened tonight. The only other time was 1995. The immortal Dwayne Hosey off the immortal Jimmy Haynes. Off Larimer Street, we're at 20th and Blake, the home of the Rockies. And the Rockies lead the Reds 3-1. Top of the 9th inning, Franklin Morales time. It's also time to check in with Tom Helmer for what will transpire after these next 3 outs. Tom.
Well, Drew, we'll talk about Marquet. 7 strikeouts tonight. That's a season high for him. Great performance by him. We'll also talk about junior achievement. Eric Young Jr. picking up the double and the home run, his first career homer. We'll break that down for you. And, of course, we'll get you down into the clubhouse and hear from the Rockies. It's all coming up right after the game. Drew?
Sounds like a good game plan, Tom. We will look forward to that after Franklin Morales gets the last 3 outs. Again, the Rockies up 3-1. Morales got his 4th save and his fourth opportunity as he fills in for Houston Street, who's on the bench. And here in the 9th inning, Jeff, he will face Scott Rowland, who singled off him in the 9th last night, and then Johnny Gomes and Vladimir Valentin.
Well, the ball club is 38-0 here at Coors Field when leading after 8 innings. Good sign for the Rockies. Talking to Jimmy Wright, the bullpen coach, this afternoon before the ball game, and he was talking about Morales, and he just couldn't say enough good things about that big curveball he threw yesterday in that ball game, and what guts it took to throw with the runner at third base, and he just comes in and really shows no fear out there now.
3-2 curveball struck out Darnell McDonald. He's got Scott Rowland, who he fell behind 2-0 yesterday, and then Rowland hit a hard single between short and third. Rowland takes a strike.
He had no intention of bunting right there. He was just taking a strike. Young guy out on the hill.
Well, down by 2 runs. That's typically what you do. Scott Rowland is an accomplished hitter as he is. He cannot win the game, tie the game with a home run. He's got to get on base.
Some closers that have more experience, you'll go up there and you can't afford to fall behind 1-0. You know, Trevor Hoffman, a guy that has the pedigree, that's been doing it for a number of years. You look at it and say, no, well, even though I can't tie it up here, I can't fall behind this guy.
And a great illustration of that theory, when the Rockies fell behind the 13th inning to San Diego in the most famous game they ever played, Clint Hurdle told his club, listen, let's not wait for a strike just because we're down a couple of runs. He said, we have to be aggressive because this guy's not going to walk you.
No.
And that's how the Rockies ended up ultimately winning that ball game. They were aggressive out of the gate in the bottom of the 13th. 2-2 on Roland. And he went to the curveball. Roland tonight, a couple of strikeouts and a ground ball to short against Jason Marquis, who stands to win his 15th. If Morales can hold Cincinnati at bay.
And even his record to 4-4 in the second half.
Two again. Outside, 3-2. On deck is Johnny Gomes. Ball 4. So now the tying run will come up in Johnny Gomes. Well, the ninth inning was not without drama yesterday, Huey.
No, it wasn't. And with the double steal that Rockies elected to try to throw down and get the trail runner, and that was a wise play to do. Cincinnati comes up and fires and gets him at second base, and then the big curveball to get Darnell McDonald to end the ball game yesterday. What a pick from Clint Barmas to just, I mean, even just stop that ball from going into center field and then having the presence to lay down the tag to get the runner.
Gomes fired at his slider.
Well, so far we've seen the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, we've seen the big curveball, and now the slider.
That's a strike. It's 0-2. Jeff Houston mentioned this a moment ago. The Rockies, when they lead after 8 innings at Coors Field, 38-0. Fastball down. This is important, I think, for Morales. Don't mess around and let Gomes get back in the count.
Right. Get him out right here. Don't get it back to 2-2, 3-2, something like that.
This is a free swing.
It is. He's got a lot of holes. You can bust him up and in if you want. I like trying to stay away or going something soft with maybe a change up, something where you don't allow him to get his arms extended.
Curveball. Ooh, boy. Locked him up. Evidently it was low. Morales thought he had him struck out. So did about 23,000 tonight.
Take a look at the side to see if it was too low. Looked like it might have caught the knees. Might have worked out and around the plate area a little bit. It's tough to tell from that angle with the break on the ball.
Atkins on the line at third. Goes to the curveball again. That is a foul ball. But you know what? Gomes swung at a pitch that probably was more off the plate than the last curveball, but he said, you know, I may have dodged a bullet on that first one. I got to fire here.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a chance again. That's exactly what happened, Drew. That one was worse than the other one. The Hyundai Cam shows how it went right off the bat. And fortunately, because Gomes does not use one of those cup bats, otherwise that bat would have split. But we got it right off the end.
Two and two.
Got it.
Johnny Gomes didn't offer a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. That is out number 1 in the ninth.
We saw those sliders, the changeups, and all of a sudden he just got locked up right at the knees outside third part of the plate. Boy, Jorvik from the Hyundai Cam didn't have to do anything other than hold it, catch it and hold it for Rick Reed.
Vladimir Ballantine. He's got plenty of pop. And he takes a strike on the inside corner.
I'm not sure what he's barking about. He's barking at Rick Reed for something. He didn't think that was a strike. Looked like a pretty good pitch to me.
Curveball and a beauty. I mean, that was filthy.
So you're sitting in the box right now going, okay, what's coming next? Right out of the hand, the Hyundai Cam. Notice how he gets around the side of the ball on that one. That creates a little more depth on that breaking pitch.
0-2. See you later. 2 outs in the ninth. Craig Tatum coming up. A reminder, when the Rockies do score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. 2 outs in the ninth, rolling at first. Craig Tatum, a single back in the third. 1 for 3. Morales trying to nail it down for Jason Marquis. Helton playing behind, rolling. Tatum all geared up for the fastball. He got the curveball at 0-1. Ballantine, we didn't notice this right away. Rick Reed gave him the heave-ho.
Well, that stems from what happened after the very first pitch.
Franklin Morales. Here's the 0-1. Curveball just off the plate.
We've seen him use so many more pitches tonight, coming in a closing role than we've seen him before. Typically, it's either been the hard fastball and the hard slider, maybe the changeup. Tonight, he's using all 4 pitches.
Strike 2. You know what I like? That's at 97.
You like that?
I like that. I really like that. I like his demeanor. I mean, think about it. He's been thrust in a difficult situation. Houston Street has been as good as you can be in terms of closers this year in baseball. And for whatever the period of time is, this guy's grabbed the baseball and said, I got everybody's back.
He's certainly not shying away from it. And we've seen it a lot of times from young guys that come up and guys that are thrust into a role like this, all of a sudden they're not the same type of pitcher. He's actually elevated his game and said, you know what? This is my time.
You know what? It's a great point. He has. I mean, we've seen him basically with his fastball 96 to 98 consistently and a filthy hook. There are a lot of guys with great stuff can't throw the ninth inning.
Nope.
Third ball's outside. 2-2. Tracy. Hands on hips. He wants 1 more strike. Popped up. Quintanilla going out. Omar's got it, and the Rockies have knocked off the Reds 3-1. They have now won 7 of 8 on this 10-game homestand. And they will stay at least 2 up on the Giants, who lead 2-1.